And you beat them by having a huge awakening. You beat them by totally jolting out of the fad-driven society. They know you're tribal. They know you're fad-driven. They know you're peer pressure-driven, like a dog. It looks up to the alpha. And they put fake alphas on TV, and they say alphas are clowns that are drugged out and cutting their face up. Alphas are Lindsay Lohan drunk on the side of the road. They show you archetypes in all the dramas and TV shows that the guy that gets the girls is an idiot and is stupid and can't keep a job. It's all meant to destroy you and make you weak. Look what they've done to the African-American community. They have destroyed 90+% illegitimacy, 20-30% of their people in prison. They're going to do that to everybody. They're now done kind of eating the black people, and they're moving on to everybody else. And Michael Jackson is just one more salvo in this culture war. Mike Rivera, whatreallyhappened.com, coming up after this break from Hawaii via video cam at prisonplanet.tv. All right, total tyranny is just unfolding. They've done spoofs on the web with Ayatollahs in Iran dubbed over saying the CIA killed Michael Jackson. You know, my gut probably says they did. I mean, this is perfect timing when he died. Perfect distraction. We know they killed Princess Diana. That's on record. We know they killed JFK. They're comparing him to those people. What a diversion. What a distraction. For the rest of the hour, Mike Rivera joins us once a month, and I appreciate Mike coming on the show today. He joins us via video cam from the Big Island out in Hawaii, up at prisonplanet.tv as we simulcast on the radio show. Mike, I want to get into Michael Jackson, but then stop there in the next segment and get into all the real issues that people aren't focused on while they're busy watching the spectacle of the snapping turtle.
Well, what's rather amazing is not that many people are watching, and I know going around the channels on the TV set, it looks like, you know, the big, huge presentation and a lot of corporate media coverage, but CNN's own online poll is showing that only about 20% of America are tuning in right now. Everybody else is fed up with it. They've got Michael Jackson burnout. They're actually, this is good for us, more and more people are coming to the blogs and the alternative media because they don't want to be inundated and saturated with the Michael Jackson memorial and funeral and everything. They see it as kind of a big joke. I mean, given the way that he lived his life, and now they're honoring him like he's a deity incarnate, as you said. They're trying to make him into this pseudo royalty, but he was an entertainer, and I liked his music, and I got to work with him on a couple of occasions. But he's just an entertainer, a musician, and he died of a drug overdose. There's hardly anything newsworthy in that, and they're trying to turn it into this big, huge media issue, and the public isn't buying it.
Well, Mike, I didn't know you worked with a snapping turtle.
I worked on a couple of his early rock videos. In fact, the first one was all the way back when he was still with the Jackson 5. And even then, I could see all the handlers surrounding him and all the agents and promoters and protectors and everything. And it was obvious then this was somebody who was never going to have a normal childhood. It's probably the reason for Neverland and all the rest of it, that he was trying to recapture the childhood he was never allowed to have growing up. But it was pretty obvious that he was in for a very rough ride, even all the way back then.
Trying to recapture the childhood, operative capture child in the spider web there. I mean, his father is admittedly an abuser. I mean, they admit that on the mainstream news. Have you seen the video of him vampirically driving in the car with a look of pleasure, just mindlessly basking in petty fame?
Oh yeah, well, everybody in the family, they're all hanging on here. They're all trying to capitalize and exploit this for their own promotion. And yeah, it's amazing. There are so many people trying to make money and trying to improve their own reputations off of this. But as I said before, CNN's own online poll is showing only about 20% of the people are tuning in. My guess is, since a lot of people who are not watching are not even bothering to log into the CNN poll, that the numbers may actually be a lot worse. I'm going to be taking a look at the actual industry numbers after this is all over and look back on it, but I don't think this is capturing the major piece of the audience that they were hoping.
But this has happened over and over again. They will continue to assault us with OJ or Anna Nicole or whatever the new distraction is this week, even as the poll numbers drop, to keep all the real issues out of the news. And so when you're at a coffee shop, you got to hear people talking about Michael Jackson next to you. This is the establishment trying to set the agenda. They don't want to talk about auditing the Federal Reserve. They don't want to talk about wars in Pakistan and stage revolution in Iran. They don't want to talk about CIA coups in Honduras. They don't want to talk about 20% and growing unemployment. They don't want to talk about the dollar in free fall right now. They want us to talk about the king of the snapping turtles.
That's absolutely correct. And what's rather amazing, we've had some of our readers from our website who've been following the situation with Cynthia McKinney and the hijacking by Israel. They're calling TV stations like WABC TV, and they're being told by the newsroom, no, that is not news. Michael Jackson is the news. That is what we are covering. And they're literally refusing to acknowledge that there was this situation going on with Israel.
So we may never see Cynthia McKinney again, or maybe they'll firing squad her, and that won't even be news.
Well, supposedly she's on her way back to the United States, and Fox News finally did run a story saying she'd been released, which was immediately followed up with a whole bunch of posters and shills bad-mouthing Cynthia McKinney. But during the whole situation, I mean, if you contrast this with 2007 and the British sailors who wandered into Iranian waters, and it was headline news, are they okay? Will Iran mistreat them? How dare Iran capture
these sailors? Are they torturing them? You know, we're against torture here. We don't torture unless when we torture. Yeah, and I was joking about firing squad, folks. That's a joke before I get emails about it. I mean, it was a joke. Mike, stay there. Let's talk about the alternative media. More and more punching through the mainstream media. More and more we're setting the agenda. And so they're declaring us all terrorists. Big new developments on that front with Attorney General I Want Your Guns Holder. It's also Butcher of Waco Holder. He's got a long history.